So why does eating too little and training too hard not work for weight loss, permanent weight loss specifically? So eating too little and moving too much or training too hard, this is the most commonly used method for weight loss. When paired together, they're actually great for losing weight initially in the short term. But for the purposes of permanently losing weight, they are actually counterproductive. Together, when applied generically, they will do more to perpetuate the habits that saw you put the weight on in the first place. Let's dive into it. If you're new here or this is your first time seeing me, my name is Shane. My wife and I run an online program dedicated exclusively to helping people who have been dieting for a long time repair their relationship with food, repair their metabolism, and get back on track after repairing the damage done from decades of dieting and restriction. And I talk about this stuff all the time on my social media platforms. And many times I am asked how I have the audacity to say that you don't need a calorie deficit to lose weight. And anecdotally, I share the success of our clients all the time, and I make it very clear that this is something that works specifically for the people who we help. But let's get into the specific topic of this video. When someone reduces their input by a large amount and at the same time increases their output by a large amount, they will create an initially positive reaction. In other words, they will lose weight. But what will also happen is their body will downregulate their metabolism. They will get fitter pretty quickly and more efficient from an energy consumption standpoint because they've made such a dramatic change in a short amount of time. The cost of this weight loss in this specific situation is increased efficiency. Now that might sound good on the surface, but really it's not. You see, if you are more efficient metabolically speaking, it essentially means that it costs less calories to maintain you where you are. Meaning your new lower calorie intake now becomes your new maintenance. So it stops working from a weight loss standpoint. Similarly, your body will become physically more efficient with regards to the specific cardio-based exercise regime that you have started. So you'll get better at running or whatever it is you started. These dual levels of efficiency go really well hand in hand, especially when you're increasing your cardio-based output, because your body gets better at being fitter and more efficient. So it costs less calories because you get better at the skill acquisition of whatever cardio type of exercise you're using. And it costs less calories because you're more efficient. Right? You've got better technique, etc. All of this means initially you will drop weight quite quickly, but this pretty much in a bell curve scenario, it levels off, And that is just metabolic adaptation. There is no way to fully negate that. Now, why is this bad? Sometimes it's not. If the person doing this wants that specific result, and that's great. But if the person doing this wants to actually lose weight permanently long term, then they are left with a pretty difficult choice. The option is to do more of what was initially working, aka reducing calories even further or increasing output even more, or worst case scenario, really both again. This will have another positive adaptation. There will be a little bit of weight loss, but again, it's not gonna be as much as the first time usually, because the body gets pretty good at what you repeatedly do. Now, at the very least, the person will be unable to maintain this because, as we know, whatever you do to lose weight initially is what you must continue to do in order to keep that weight off. So the maintenance of this new weight that you've lost depends on a method that is unmaintainable at its core. Now, caveat, there are those out there who can maintain this stuff. There are those out there, the Goggins of the world, who are they're built different. They are able to eat out of cold Tupperware boxes all day, and they're able to eat the calorific volume equivalent of a toddler, and they're able to train 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times plus a week. Those are the exceptions. But for the vast majority of people in this situation, what happens next is unfortunately the most common outcome. And that is eventually, because whether you're not seeing the results that you wanted to get out of this endeavor, or if you just eventually just get tired and your willpower runs out, at the very least you'll go back to doing what you initially were doing before you made these changes. If that happens, you will put all of the weight back on again. Sometimes, because of the situation that they're in, people in this situation will binge and increase more calories than they were consuming to maintain their initial starting point. And as a result, they will plow straight past that initial point. The real fucking problem with this, from a physical standpoint, is that you're not just losing the same weight over and over again. In doing these cycles, you're not putting the same weight on and losing the same weight again. You're actually losing something that you can't control here. So when you're eating too little and you're moving more than you can appropriately recover from, what's happening is you're going to lose predominantly more lean tissue than non-lean tissue. Essentially, bone density, muscle mass, all the things you don't want to lose. And when it comes to putting the weight back on again, usually you're not actually doing it in a way that constitutes replacing the lean tissue that you've lost. That stimulus isn't there. Usually it's nutrient vacant, calorie dense foods, right? Really palatable food choices, aka bad foods, right? When that happens, you're putting on more body fat. So you're arriving back to the original weight that you were, but this time you're softer, fatter, weaker, and less muscular. As well as that, mentally, what you have done here is you have failed again. Even though you did something that was unmaintainable. You failed because you couldn't maintain something that was unmaintainable, right? That's not totally your fault. But from your perspective and from the perspective of someone who gets stuck in these cycles quite often, it's another failed attempt. Letting themselves down again. It's really hard to come back and try again after a couple of those fucking rounds. So mentally, physically, and emotionally, hard dieting and extreme cardio for weight loss specifically is one of the shittest fucking cycles that you can find yourself in. So what can you do instead? First, fucking just straight out, right? Just the best suggestion I have is to join our free Facebook community. It's called Weight Loss Support and Advice. Inside, we provide monthly weight loss workshops where we help our members. There's about 2,000 in there at the time of shooting this video. We genuinely help them in a one-on-one basis as much as we can. We offer free clarity calls. We offer trainings, bonus workshops, bonus webinars, and we also share our clients' results who work with us in a one-on-one basis inside the anti-diet program, who do exactly what I'm talking about. Repairing the metabolism, repairing the relationship with food, movement, and self, and getting to a point where you can undo the damage that has been done by cycles like this. So if you recognize this cycle that I'm talking about, this specific cycle of dieting, yo-yo dieting, any kind of dieting, chronically restricting your food over years, not really getting anywhere, if this is resonating with you, and if you've watched this video for this long, it would probably be really beneficial for you to resonate with something that resonates with you by taking some kind of fucking action here and doing something about it. The group is free. You can find it in the bio of wherever whatever platform you're watching this on. It's probably YouTube. You can find it in the bio there, or you can comment and I'll reply with the link to it. I hope to see you in there.